what's up you guys? I'm Sarah Labrat, and in today's video, as you can probably tell from the title, I'm starting a new project for Camp NaNoWriMo July. I've been on authortube for almost a year now, and the only book project I've worked on has been my project DE, which is a high fantasy told from 3 points of view, and that is going into the 3rd draft. And occasionally I do a little bit of writing in my side project or like back burner project that I call CBH, but that really is just for when I'm having a good writing day and run out of things to write in DE, so I switch over and write things in CBH. However, for camp, I have been debating for a while what I wanted to do for Camp Nano because I feel like I should work on the 3rd draft of my project DE. And then on June 20th, something like clicked for me, and I spent like 6 hours just working on coming up with ideas, trying to iron out who my characters would be, trying to figure out like what the setting is. Honestly, what the plot is, that's the one I'm struggling with the most. Everything else seems to be falling into place. But I've already started a Pinterest board. It has 90 pins in it right now. I have a Spotify playlist for it because why not at this point? And sort of after I was able to get over the guilt of not getting into the 3rd draft of my project DE because I know that it needs a break, because I did like just finish the 2nd draft pretty recently, and then I went through and like wrote all of my chapter summaries out on note cards and then like reorganized them. So a lot has been happening with my project DE recently, and I have accepted that it just needs a break. And I've also just been feeling really creative, and it's hard to satisfy that creative need when you're editing and not like drafting something new. And so I decided that I would take a month, the month of July, so Camp Nano fell perfectly for that, and I would write and draft something brand new. And then after July is over, then I will go back to the 3rd draft of my project DE and continue on with that afterwards and keep moving, or keep trying to move towards betas and finding an agent. So, exciting things are happening. I have finally decided that it is the best thing for my project DE for me to take a month off and start something new, just sort of for like creative regeneration. I feel super excited about this new project idea that I will talk about here in just a moment, but like so excited that I want to start now, but I'm not going to. I really am going to try and hold myself off until July 1st, which is when Camp Nano would start, and so I'm going to do my best to actually wait until July 1st, which is a Wednesday. But the only issue is that I'm going on vacation on that day, and I do write well on planes. Like I write really, really well on planes. Like some of my highest word days, actually I think like my top 3 highest word days have been days that I was traveling, and so just like writing on planes and writing in airports for whatever reason is extremely inspiring to me, even though it has absolutely nothing to do with the story. That is where I seem to write very, very well. So what is my story about? It is a story that I've actually wanted to write for a while now and have had a Pinterest board for, and I think I might even have a document on my computer where I was just like brainstorming. But basically for the longest time I have wanted to do a Hades and Persephone retelling. And again, like I said, on June 20th, something like clicked for me. The reason I hadn't ever started that project was because it just felt like something was missing. And then I was scrolling through Instagram and found a writing prompt that I love. It was just like sort of percolating around my brain for a little bit, and then I was like, wait, like this would be a good prompt for like a Hades and Persephone like setting to retell it. And basically got so excited that, like I said, I spent 6 hours brainstorming and trying to like start figuring things out, but everything clicked. And then I started making a Pinterest board, and like I just sort of started running with this concept. Now we're gonna talk a little bit about my goal for Camp Nano. For those of you that don't know, NaNoWriMo is National Novel Writing Month. It happens in November every single year, and it is where people try to write 50,000 words in a month. I'm not the biggest fan of NaNoWriMo just because it doesn't take into account that any amount of words you write in that month is successful. You only win if you write 50,000. And so I am a much bigger fan of Camp Nano, which happens in April and July. And that is when you can actually pick your goal and what you want to accomplish for that month. I did do Camp Nano in April, and that is when I was working on editing draft 2 of my project DE, which I did in a month and a half because I think I started 2 weeks early to give myself that time to edit 87,000 words. But I did it and I really enjoyed picking my own goal. However, in April, I was not working and not in school and, you know, in a pandemic, so it was fine. So, all right, if we break this down a little bit, I now have a full-time job. It is roughly 8 to 5, Monday through Thursday, and then 8 to 1 on Fridays, which is really nice and will give me more lenience on Fridays to get stuff done. But there are 31 days in July. And so I wanted to come up with somewhat of a reasonable goal. And so I was like looking back at my word count spreadsheets where I like keep track of how much I've written. And it seems like the most I've written in a month was 28,000 words. And that was in NaNoWriMo 2019. I was in school and did include homework words. And so like any essay that I wrote, I did include in that total number. And so I think my total creative words for that month was about 20,000. And the NaNoWriMo before that, which was NaNoWriMo 2018, I got 26,000 words. And so it seems like when I'm in school, which I am no longer, I can do about, I'm gonna say 26,000 words. Okay, like that's pretty solid. That is very solid. Progress is progress, and that is advancement in those projects. Again, progress is progress, so I was extremely happy with that. So I was thinking, I don't want to set a goal that I can't achieve, but I also want to set a goal that will still stretch me and impress myself if I can hit that, because I want it to be just far enough outside my comfort zone that it's tricky and like a little difficult, but I don't want it to be like so hard that I like quit. So I'm thinking maybe I shoot for about 30,000 words because I know that I can do about 26 in a dedicated month of writing, but I am working and will likely not be writing every single day, which is something that's going to be weird for me because I am definitely the kind of person that likes writing as often as they can. But progress is progress. I know that I'm starting a new story. I'm very excited to be starting a new story, and so any progress on this story, I will be super, super happy with. 30,000 words in 31 days would be 967 words a day, which is definitely attainable as long as I don't fall behind. And the fact that July like starts out with a family holiday, aka the 4th of July, I'm like not sure I can get ahead unless I have like some absolutely insane crazy writing day on July 1st when I'm on the plane, which I might if I'm like really in the mood to write. Could happen. But I also don't want to write too much during that long weekend because I'm going to be with family and I want to spend as much time as I can with them. But 30,000 words in a month would be my best writing month, I think, ever. Definitely within the past like 2 years that I've been tracking my word count on my spreadsheet on my computer. It's beautiful. I'm very proud of it. I made a whole video about it if you guys are curious about how I track my words in Excel. However, with work, and the 4th of July long weekend, I see 12 days in July that I know that I can write. And that is pretty much Friday, Saturday, Sunday of most of my weekends, except the first weekend, which would be the 4th of July. And on that, like, when I'm calling a long weekend, I can write on Wednesday, which is July 1st, and Sunday, which is July 5th, because those are the days that I'm flying. But pretty much my other writing days, or days that will be available for writing, are like weekends, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because I do end work at like 1-ish on Fridays. But like I said, 30,000 words would be my best writing month ever, which would be crazy and so cool. But also if I can actually be really creative, and I feel like I might be able to be really creative on weekends because I will have been, I'm gonna say, creatively starved during the week, at least like in my own personal creative projects. I do get to be a little bit creative for work because I am in marketing, but like I'm obviously not like writing a novel at work. However, because I am shooting for 30,000 words in 31 days, I might try to start incorporating some writing during my lunch breaks, which would work if I wrote by hand or if I brought my computer and like packed a lunch for work and like either a lunch at the office or went to like a coffee shop when they open back up, but I'm not entirely sure when they are opening back up, at least where I am. I don't know what the rest of the world's doing right now, but I'm hoping to incorporate writing sprints into at least 2 of my lunch breaks throughout my week. But we're considering the fact that I have like 4 lunch breaks, Monday through Thursday, and then Friday's a half day, so I'll just come home and write ideally. I do wake up at 6:20 to get ready for work. I'm kind of wondering if I should start getting up at like 6 and give myself a 20-minute writing sprint in the morning, because I have noticed that that's something that really works for me. Is I either have to write in like the afternoon/evening or like right away in the morning when my brain's not awake, and so I can like sneak up on it and like convince my brain to write and get stuff done when I like don't necessarily want to, but I'm not awake enough to stop myself. Tricks. I hope the audio is okay. It is raining outside, but it's really kind of nice and moody and like makes me want to start on this project even more. I'm hoping that the rough draft of this project, my brand new baby project, will be done at around 70,000 words, but that's like not how things seem to work out for me. So I honestly doubt that it's actually gonna end up being that little. I assume it's probably gonna end up at like 120,000 because that seems like I just overwrite things. For the first time in my life, I'm actually going to try outlining. And by outlining, I mean outlining my project before I write it and not after, like when I outlined like J.K. Rowling after I'd written 200,000 words in my Project DE, or recently when I reverse outlined my novel, also Project DE. I'm a pantser and have always identified as a pantser. Like in school when we had to submit outlines for papers and stuff, I hated it. And so I'd always turn one in knowing that I would still pants whatever essay or story I was turning in, because my characters or plot would always take it in a very different direction, often a much better direction than I had originally planned. But because my goal is to write 30,000 words in a month, I do feel like I need some sort of outline. And if my characters or plot decide to take me in a different direction, I will 100% follow them because I trust them. However, I do feel like this might be a little bit different than like Project DE or like stories I've started in the past, because it is a retelling of Greek mythology, and so there's already a structure to it. And so really the outlining process should be pretty easy because I'm going to mostly follow that format as long as it fits the story. And because it already has a structure, I feel like outlining might be easier than it is for me normally because I pants so much. But this is an attempt at being prepared for Camp Nano. It also gives me a reason to finally try and read through Save the Cat Writes a Novel, which I've had sitting on my bookshelf for like probably at least 2 or 3 years. I don't know when it came out, but it has been sitting on my bookshelf, unused, unread, and now it's time to actually read it and work from the beat sheet. I will be making an entire video about trying to plan it and outline it and stuff, but that will be an interesting experiment for me. If you have not already, I did start a Facebook group that's going to be acting as our Camp Nano July cabin, because the NaNoWriMo website did take down cabins for camp, which is sort of like writer groups, I think up to like 25 people. And that was my favorite part because the community is so important during Camp Nano. And so I still really wanted that aspect of writers supporting writers, and so I started a Facebook group. It is going to be linked down below if you want to join it. Basically, the only credentials are if you are going to be doing Camp Nano July, or if you have some crazy writing goal for July, even if you're not doing camp. And it's just a way for us to support one another and make headway in our projects, because progress is progress. And it's just going to be a supportive writing group where we talk about our struggles and we motivate one another, and we talk about what we've accomplished and what we're going to accomplish and our goals with our stories. So if you have not already, go click that link in the description if you want to join us. If you want to join me on my NaNoWriMo journey and trying to outline a new project and write a new project, then if you have not already, make sure you hit that big red subscribe button down below so that you don't miss any of my July Camp Nano uploads. And if you have not already, please give the video a big thumbs up because it really supports my channel, because it helps shows the YouTube algorithm that you enjoyed my video and that someone else might too. I want to know down on the comment section below what you are doing for Camp Nano, or if you're doing Camp Nano, if you've ever tried it. But I want to know what you're working on, what your goals are, because July is going to be an incredible writing month for all of us. All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm Sarah Labrat. I post videos twice a week on Mondays and Thursdays, and I sometimes do live streams. So I will see you guys next time with another video. Bye.